During this pandemic, if there was an essential service that has been provided constantly, that residents, sometimes we take it granted, it's the water, water quality, the water flow. It's just one of those things that people, it's a no-brainer. You're turning on the sink, you have water. You're using the shower, you have water. Well, that service during this pandemic was not easy to attain, and it's because of the collaboration of all these different authorities here in the town of Hempstead, Suffolk County, throughout Nassau County, our different smaller water districts, all of them working together, that we have been able to provide this essential service during the entire pandemic. And I want to thank all of my my colleagues in government, as well as all of my colleagues in the water industry here on Long Island for their great leadership. As I said, during this pandemic, we've been able to sustain and continue the water service. But as the phases continue, there are many businesses and operations that are going to be turning their water back on. And there are precautions that we're going to be going over in a little bit about some of the initiatives and steps we should take to reopening our water. And why is that? Because when water sits for a long period of time, it becomes stagnant. It could spread bacteria. And we want to make sure, as the workforce starts to get back to their workplace, that the steps are being taken by these private entities to make sure that there are no issues with the water, that they enjoy that quality, and these are just safeguards.
Now, I want to stress that the water that is out in the distribution system that is being provided by all the water providers is clean, it is safe to drink. But think of it simply as you take a water hose that's sitting in your backyard, you shut it off, you have warm water sitting in there for a period of time. You can feel that it's warm, it might have a slight odor to it. Something very similar can happen to the internal plumbing fixtures in buildings and facilities. It is important that the building managers, facility caretakers take the time to flush out the complex systems within each one of these buildings to get that cold, potable, clean water from the distribution system into the internal piping of the buildings.
What we don't want to happen is, with that bacteria laying in those pipes, people just starting to drink it without flushing it, they're going to get sick. And then we're going to think we have another pandemic going on, something else is going on because of the bacteria. So rather than face another crisis, let's fix it before it gets broke. Right now we know that stuff has been laying in the pipes, and bacteria, where does it grow? It grows in wet areas, in water. So this is something that we all would think, now that you're hearing it and you're saying, that makes sense. But we didn't think of it until we had this conference. So I like, you know what, they're right. They should really start running their water.
Water has been an essential service that has been provided during this pandemic. And the men and women in every one of these facilities throughout Nassau and Suffolk that during this pandemic have continually gone to work day and night to make sure we've had good, safe water, who've opened up those water leaks in the middle of this pandemic. They are frontline essential workers. They deserve the respect, the appreciation, and the thanks of every resident here in the town of Hempstead, across Long Island. But most importantly, what has happened with the communication of all these entities is something every resident should know has been a great success. About regularly meeting, making sure all these services are provided and they work with one another. This is a story of good government, good private sector getting together and getting it done.